Okay, so I owe y'all this story time. I'm gonna do a story time about how my two best friends made me cry on my birthday. Okay, guys, she's back. No, I'm just playing. So I'm back, and you guys are gonna spend a day with me. And right now, I'm. Hey guys, so get ready with me for my last first day.
She was young, vibrant, and on her way to becoming one of TikTok's next big stars. But just days ago, 17-year-old Siyah was found shot in the chest, inside a car, in the parking lot of a busy shopping mall. She didn't survive. 4 young men were in the car with her, but nobody's been arrested. No one is talking, and the internet is left asking the same question. What really happened to Siyah that night? Stick with me because this story gets darker. Nasiyah Turner, known to thousands online as Siyah, was more than just another teenager on TikTok. She was real, relatable, the kind of girl who reminded you of your little cousin, your best friend from high school, or that classmate you always saw laughing in the hallway. She was just 17 years old, a senior at Rancho Verde High School in Moreno Valley, a city in Southern California. Moreno Valley sits in the Inland Empire region, a place that blends suburban neighborhoods, mountain views, and desert heat. It's a working-class community, not far from LA, where young people dream big, hustle hard, and find their voices online. And Siyah? She found hers on TikTok. She wasn't just posting to go viral, she was posting because she loved it. Her videos were a mix of dance trends, get ready with me clips, and casual moments from her everyday life. Just a teenage girl having fun with her hair, her makeup, and her moves. She had an energy that made people stop scrolling. She didn't need filters to grab attention. Her smile did that for her. At the time of her death, Siyah had over 220,000 followers on TikTok, a number that exploded to over 310,000 in the days after her passing. Her Instagram page also grew to 36,000 plus followers, not because of a trend, but because people wanted to remember her, to see her, to keep her memory alive. What made Siyah special wasn't just her following, it was her vibe, her warmth. She had that glow, the kind you can't fake, the kind that shines through a phone screen. Friends say she was goofy, kind, and loyal. The type of girl who'd hype up your outfit, fix your lashes, and still be on FaceTime with you at midnight, talking about life. Online, she was your fave. In real life, she was loved. Her final TikTok, posted just hours before she died, showed her dancing and smiling, rocking a fresh hairstyle, and vibing to Carne Asada by Blueface. The video felt like any other TikTok, until it wasn't. That final post now has millions of views, not because of the trend, but because people can't believe she's really gone. Siyah was young, talented, and just beginning to build a life filled with promise. She wasn't perfect, but she was real. And now her name is trending, not because of drama, not because of controversy, but because she died suddenly and violently, in a way no 17-year-old ever should. It was supposed to be a regular Thursday night. On January 18, 2025, just after 7:30 p.m., deputies from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department were called to the Los Chorritos Center, a busy shopping mall that sits between LA and Orange County. It's the kind of place where teens hang out, couples grab dinner, and families run weekend errands. But that night, flashing lights and sirens replaced laughter and chatter in the parking lot. Inside a parked car, they found a young girl, unresponsive, barely clinging to life. That girl was Nasiyah Turner. A single bullet wound to her chest. No one knew it yet, but the TikTok star they all knew as Siyah wouldn't make it out of that parking lot alive. Emergency responders performed CPR on the scene as a crowd began to form. Witnesses described the chaos. One restaurant worker nearby said a nurse who happened to be close tried desperately to save her, performing compressions for at least 10 minutes. People were frozen. Traffic around the lot was shut down. And then, silence. Siyah was rushed to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. In the car with her that night were 4 young males, all teenagers or in their early 20s. They were detained and questioned, but as of now, no charges have been filed. Authorities have not released their names, and what exactly happened inside that vehicle remains a mystery. There was no sign of a robbery, no evidence of a struggle, no security footage made public. Just a girl shot once in the chest, surrounded by people who either couldn't or wouldn't explain what went wrong. What was she doing at that mall parking lot? Who were the boys with her? And most importantly, who pulled the trigger? From the moment Siyah's death hit the news, the pressure on law enforcement was immediate. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Homicide Bureau took over the case, calling it an active and ongoing investigation. But while the community expected fast answers, what followed instead was a frustrating silence. All we know publicly is this: 4 young males were in the car with Siyah when she was shot. They were detained at the scene and questioned. No one has been arrested, no one has been charged, and nearly everything about the circumstances, from who owned the weapon to how it was fired, remains undisclosed. The investigators haven't said whether it was intentional or accidental, or even whether the shooter confessed. Was it a reckless mishandling of a gun? A fight that escalated? A setup? No one knows. And the longer the silence drags on, the more theories swirl. No gun has been confirmed publicly, and ballistics reports have not been released. Her autopsy confirmed a gunshot wound to the chest, but the report hasn't answered who pulled the trigger or why. And here's where things get unsettling. For many people, it feels like Siyah's death is already being forgotten by the system. No press conferences, no follow-ups, no justice. Her supporters online have been asking the same thing. If this was a white teenage girl, would things be this quiet? The idea that a young black teen can be shot and killed in front of witnesses, and no one is held responsible, has sparked anger across social media. Her name has become a hashtag, Justice for Siyah. But hashtags don't bring answers, and so far neither have investigators. That leaves the public stuck in limbo, forced to speculate and guess, while those who were there that night walk free. The community wants transparency. The family deserves closure. And her fans, they just want the truth. What's even more disturbing is how fast interest fades, how stories like this are hot for a week, then replaced by the next headline. But her life mattered. Her death demands answers, and someone, somewhere, knows exactly what happened in that car. The moment the news broke that Siyah, a rising teenage influencer, had been shot and killed, the internet lit up. But it wasn't just mourning. It was confusion, suspicion, and heartbreak, all unfolding in real time. Her followers, many of them teenagers just like her, flooded her last Instagram posts with comments, "This can't be real. Girl, you were just live the other day. What happened? Who did this?" On TikTok, the hashtag #JusticeForSiyah quickly began trending. But this wasn't just the usual tribute content, it was deeper than that. Creators began digging, posting timelines, zooming into her last Snapchats, analyzing the backgrounds of her live videos, looking for any clue about what happened. One video zoomed in on what appeared to be a hand holding a weapon in a reflection behind her. Another suggested a strange male voice heard in the background shortly before the gunshot. Was it real? Was it just internet speculation? No one knows for sure, but the silence from authorities only fed the fire. Her followers weren't just sad, they were furious. Furious at how quickly her death seemed to be pushed to the side. Furious at the lack of updates. Furious at how fast it seemed people moved on. People started calling out the double standards, comparing her case to other high-profile deaths of young girls who weren't black, weren't from working-class neighborhoods, and whose families had money or media attention. And in all of this, Siyah's family stayed mostly quiet, grieving, hurting, and waiting for answers that still haven't come. Before we move forward, ask yourself, what if this was your sister, your daughter? Wouldn't you want the world to keep asking questions? Wouldn't you want people to care enough to demand the truth? Don't scroll past this like it's just another tragedy. Subscribe now if you believe her story deserves justice, and if you don't, head to the comments and explain why. The rest of us will wait while you drop in her memory. When a teenager is killed in cold blood, something deep inside a community breaks. But when no one is held accountable, that break turns into a wound that doesn't heal. That's what's happening in Siyah's case. Siyah wasn't just a daughter or a dancer, she was a child, and yet the silence surrounding her death speaks louder than any siren. Her mother's cries, her brother's pain, her friend's confusion, those are the echoes of unresolved trauma. The kind of trauma that keeps mothers awake at night, wondering if their daughter might be next. And while the internet argues and speculates, real people are living this. Her mother has to wake up every day knowing her baby girl left in a car full of boys and never came back. No explanation, no apology, no justice. The psychological toll isn't just on the family, it's on every young black girl who sees what happened to Siyah and quietly asks, would they fight for me if I was the one shot? This is bigger than just a single case. It's a terrifying reflection of a world where young girls can be taken and nothing happens. And that is trauma we all carry. Siyah didn't live long, but she left a legacy that refuses to be buried. She wasn't just a pretty girl who danced on TikTok or posted selfies on Instagram. She was a voice, a vibe, a symbol. She represented hope in neighborhoods that rarely got seen unless something violent happened. She was that girl who made you feel like you mattered, like being different wasn't just okay, it was powerful. In her city, young black girls looked up to her. They saw someone who looked like them, rocking natural hair, shining through hardship, smiling even when the world gave her every reason not to. Teachers said Siyah had big dreams, not just for herself, but for her little sisters, for her mom who worked 2 jobs, for the kids in her community who never felt seen. She talked about starting a program to help girls stay off the streets, to teach them how to create content, how to speak, how to heal. But now, that voice has been silenced. Or has it? Because even now, her name is still echoing. Murals are going up in her neighborhood. A local clothing brand dropped a line in her name, with profits going toward scholarships for black girls who want to create, express, and lead, just like she did. On TikTok, creators post daily, Siyah, we haven't forgotten you. We say your name with love. Your voice still speaks, through us. And yet, there's still no arrest. No one has been held responsible. Her family waits every single day for a knock on the door. A detective with answers, a lead, a confession, something. But it hasn't come. If this story shook something in you, if you feel even an ounce of the outrage, the heartbreak, the helplessness, then don't scroll past. Hit that subscribe button, not just for content, but because this is a community that refuses to let girls like Siyah be forgotten. And if you can watch this and not subscribe, then go to the comments and tell us why. Why does her life not matter enough for you to stay informed? Drop a purple heart if her story touched you, and say her name, Siyah.